welcome back to the channel. It's Lauren. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Today, we're just gonna talk about sparkles. Like, I'm on my period, I'm like in pain, and technically I've filmed this video before, and I just wanted to talk about my all shimmer palettes, and then I started getting weird and talking really musing on all shimmer. Like, I don't know, it was too much. It's like, girl, it could be, let's keep it simple, you know? We're talking about all shimmer palettes here. Now, I used to not like this. I think there used to be palettes that were mostly shimmer, maybe a few mattes here and there. And then with the real big rise of makeup on YouTube and in social media, I feel like not only the warm tones, but like the mattes were so popular. And I was on that. I was like not about an all shimmer palette. You know, you couldn't convince me in the past that you could do an eye look with like a shimmer in the crease. Like, are you kidding me? Like, where's our like matte transition shade? You know, if a palette doesn't have that, like, what am I supposed to do with this? But I have since changed my mind on that. And I love all shimmer palettes. Now, I think mattes definitely still have their place, and I'm actually like kind of in the middle. Like, I definitely think that mattes can do their thing. You know, being a matte color, they're not reflecting light, so they're definitely adding a lot of depth. And if you're following the traditional way, you know, what does it even mean? Everyone's eye shape's different. Everyone's style and preference is different. What you want to enhance, what you don't is so different. But if you're kind of following where you're putting something maybe in the outer corner or putting something in the crease, you usually do that with a matte, so that way you can actually create that depth. Whereas when you put a shimmer there, it's going to reflect light. Now, there are a lot of different shimmer formulations out there. There's like satins and there's metallics and foiled and textured. Like, there's so much sparkly little glitters. Those are my favorite. But those are all going to reflect light in some way, and so it's just harder to create depth with them. I really like duochromes though for creating depth. So anyway, I'm kind of getting off. I even talked more than what I just did. If you thought that was like, okay girl, you know, I'm telling you, the other video was like, as I was filming it, I was like, okay, land the plane, where are we going? No. So anyway, I did a look today using all shimmers, so that'll be at the end if you want to see how I did it. But I really just wanted to talk about the all shimmer palettes that are in my collection, what I like about them, maybe some of the looks that I do as I talk about them. Some of them you've definitely seen in more recent videos, but other ones are newer. I was inspired initially to do this from the Dragon Fruit palette. Let me remember the name. The Dragon Fruit palette with Clionadh in collaboration with Emily Violet Marie. This is a newer palette to my collection. I have a video on it, so I'll leave it linked down below, but this is an all shimmer palette. Every single shadow in here is shimmery, and I freaking love it. I think it's so fun, and I think one of the reasons I really do like shimmers and am okay with all shimmer palettes is when I can create looks. Like, I've found ways to create looks that I really enjoy. I think shimmers are fun and like sexy and like, you know, playful. You could do neutrals, you could do colorful, like you could do anything with a shimmer. Like, I love it. But I also feel like I have a lot of mattes in my collection, and so when I'm looking to buy new stuff, you know, honestly, the shimmers are like exciting or different and are gonna be more the thing I'm okay with splashing out on. So for me, I don't mind all shimmer palettes. I have things to companion with. I don't mind bringing in a matte from somewhere else for me to get more of those shimmers instead of, let's say, another mid-tone brown. You know, like, I got those covered. I got them covered. So anyway, this one is so beautiful. The look that I did in that video, if you want another all shimmer look, check that video out. Like I said, I really like creating contrast instead of maybe a ton of depth by using just different colors. Like, having a different color on the outer corner to the color on the inner corner can be a great way to kind of add some depth and contrast while still using the shimmers. There's also a super deep purple in here that I haven't used yet, but I think would make a great color to add a lot of depth even though it's shimmery. So that was my inspo palette for just kind of getting together what I have and seeing what it is. I do feel like with indie brands, you're maybe more able to find all shimmer palettes or all matte palettes. Like, they just do a lot of different cool, fun stuff. So some other all shimmer indie palettes that I have, this one is from It's Bel. It's the Flare palette, and this one is really beautiful. This has tons of duochromes in it, and now the textures in here are all different. Some of them are a little bit more almost like a velvet, like they're right on the cusp of looking almost matte. They don't have a ton of shine. It's almost like, you know, a metal that's been like brushed down. There's something about it that's still not a complete flat matte, but it's not like shiny. I feel like that's like a velvet to me, and there's some shades in here like that. I actually have been enjoying those types of textures or satins a lot recently because I think they're understated and subtle, and I think they do the work of a matte and a shimmer together. They add a little bit of luminosity to your eye, depending on where you want them. They're super easy to blend out, and if you're going with more neutral tones, whether it's like a little bit darker than your skin tone, they can just look really soft and understated, and I find like just really beautiful, like really, really beautiful. So I've been loving those textures, but you guys know I love sparkle. Like I love all of it. I really do. Actually, the one thing I feel like I don't as much is a foiled metallic. I'm not as into like fully opaque liquid metal type shadows. Those aren't my favorite. Anyway, I really do love this palette. I love Rosewater in the middle, probably my favorite shade, but there's some really pretty ones in here. And I also think that duochromes are a great way to do one and done shadows. That's one of the ways I really like to use my all shimmer palettes. This next one from Simply Posh, Northern Lights, this one's stunning. Tons of duochromes, and when you use duochromes as like one shadow looks, I think it's awesome because they have that built-in kind of contrast and depth because they shift colors and your eyes round. So, you know, depending on how you move, they add that kind of dimension in just naturally in what they have going on. I love this. I actually, when I filmed this video, I did an eye look and I used, I think the shade I used in here was Bright, and it was so beautiful. Oh my gosh, like Beetles. I love that this one is all shimmer, all duochrome, but it sticks to those green, blue, purple tones. There's some pinks going on, you can see, depending on how the light hits these, but just stunning shades in here, and this always inspires me. I could take like any of these and blend them out on my lid, one and done shadow, and be good. I don't know if this is still available. I feel like their stuff goes in and out of stock quite fast, but this one is beautiful for an indie shadow palette. And then the other one that I have here is the Enchantment palette from Shine by SD. I picked this up because the Shine shadows individually can be a little bit expensive. I think they're beautiful. I have tons of videos on the Shine by SD shadows. So if you're interested in the brand, you can definitely check those out and kind of see swatches. But I was excited for this palette because of the fact that you could get more of the shadows in here for a little bit cheaper. This one's more like almost icy themed, all blues and again kind of purples. I honestly just, I love it. This like always inspires me, all the different textures. That's like the fun thing about makeup to me. Mattes can look really good, like structurally help an eye look, but shimmers are the fun. Shimmers are what make it a good time. I do have a drugstore palette here. I think a lot of people have this one from Flower Beauty. I'm actually glad I'm refilming this because somehow I forgot to put this in the last video. So this is the Jungle Lights palette. They also have the Desert Lights, which is another all shimmer palette, and it's more like pink rose type tones. So beautiful. I really want to snatch that one up soon, but this one is stunning. These are actually a little bit more foiled, but you also can piece them out on the eye too. So they don't have to be completely foiled, but these have a ton of pigmentation if that's what you want. Tons of shine. So stunning. I really feel like this color is the best. I love it. I also love the sagey green, but for the drugstore, like you can't get better. You cannot get better than this, and use your mattes that you already have at home, and you have tons of different lid shades. You can create full looks with this if you want, one shadow looks, use this purple to deepen stuff up if you really wanted to, but just stunning. This one's so pretty, so glad to have it. Huge pans too. I mean, we don't even need pans that big. Make them half the size, charge half the money. That would be ideal, honestly, but I'll stop complaining because it's really great. A more mainstream palette you can pick up at Sephora is from Makeup by Mario. Now this is the Master Metallics palette. There's also a Master Mattes, I think it is, and that one's all matte. And I actually really like that he did his palettes this way because it makes sense from an artist's perspective. I mean, look at this. This is a dream of if you like neutrals, but you want maybe a few colorful shades, like this is so perfect. I love these all as one shadow looks. They're so beautiful. Even this blue is so dreamy. So dreamy. To me, this is like red carpet looks all day, every day. No matter what you want, no matter what your outfit is, you can match any of it with this palette. I feel like there's just so many stunning shades in here. It's like, it's expensive. Like I feel like shimmers are expensive looking to me. There's something kind of effortless, like you can make them look really like, I don't want to say messy, but yeah, effortlessly beautiful. And I just feel like this has Hollywood glam written all over it. But what I was trying to get at before I got sidetracked is that I love that he has the mattes palette and then he does like his all shimmer palettes. But from a makeup artist standpoint, it makes sense because you have to be really careful to not get too many shimmers in your mattes, depending on what kind of work you're doing. You know, if you're doing a really close-up eye look for like photography or even film, depending on how close up that shot is, if there's a shimmer, it can be really distracting. Like the tiniest speck of shimmer can become very noticeable when it's a super tight shot and it's also going to be blown up on a big screen. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I like that little attention to detail, and I feel like it really falls in line with his makeup artistry inspiring the brand. So anyway, I love this palette. This is one, it took me a while to pick up, but I'm so glad I did. I love how compact it is. It's definitely a really good one if you want to try out an all shimmer palette. I have a few discontinued palettes, so we'll talk about those really fast. I have my Linda Halberg Enchanted Secrets. This does duochrome, beautiful colors, but there's something subtle about these. These don't have like the absolute most shine. I mean, they're shiny and they're textured and they're sparkly, but there's something about them that's still kind of understated, and I find it just so beautiful, so effortless, just absolutely stunning. I'm so glad to have gotten this in my collection. This is a perfect palette for me when I don't know what I want to do. I actually recently did a look and I used this green with a little bit of a matte in my crease, but you know, I can just slap one of these on over a cream shadow or like a primer and just, you know, kind of blend it out with my finger, be done. I can add this deepened up, maybe a little matte, and be out the door. There's so many fun, simple looks in here, and I feel like they've done duochrome in a very chic and like kind of classy way, and I really love that. I still feel just like so basically almost neutral when I wear these, but it's not. It's like more fun than that. I love that palette. For actual neutral all shimmer palette, this next one, again, discontinued, unfortunately. It was just limited edition from Urban Decay, the Party Favor palette. This is so stunning. This came out for holiday a couple years ago, and this is the Moondust formula, and it's so good, you guys. This is that textural, flaky shadows. If you've ever bought any of the single Moondust shadows, I feel like Solstice is really popular. There's also like Space Cowboy, I think that's what it's called. Those are really great single shadows if you want to like try that formula out. Maybe go swatch those at Sephora or something just to get an idea, but stunning. And I love that this is all neutrals. These look great, again, alone or as companions to other things. I am so glad I got my hands on this. I really want Urban Decay to come out with like a volume 2 to just do this form. Like, what's going on? Quads, wouldn't it be amazing to have like quads where half of them were this, maybe another metallic or another shimmer and a matte, neutrals, maybe a few fun colors? Like, what are we doing? Let's get on that. Like, what do you need from me? How can we make that happen? Seriously. The shade in here called Spaced is one of the most beautiful shadows in my collection, I think. Like, as a neutral lover, it's just on the edge. It's just on the edge of being something way more than neutral, but also so neutral and like so comfortable. Beautiful. Love this. So glad. Again, it's in my collection. I have my hands on it. I only have a few more things to talk about. I have some cream shadows here, or cream palettes. And one is another indie brand. This is something I picked up this year. This is the Cozzette Crystal Cream Shadow Palette. So these you can actually buy individually. So if you're not interested in a palette and you just want to pick up a single, that is available. They just took their top selling shades and put them in a palette, and oh my gosh, stunning, stunning, so beautiful. I love creams, and these do not disappoint. I mean, this is what I feel like indie makeup is all about. This is what gets me so excited. This is a brand that's like also a little bit more on the professional side too. I've definitely heard of Cozzette before this palette came out, and I wanted to get the single shadows and I just hadn't, and then I kind of forgot about it. But man, this is so exciting. This makes me so excited to play. I love the two neutral shades, like the two lighter shades. Have My Heart. This actually reminds me of a shadow I used today. I wonder how close those are. I think I found a dupe right here with you guys. Maybe not. Okay, I'm showing you guys. So, wait. This is the one from Cozzette, and this is from the Mood Forever palette, which I used on my eyes today, from Roen. And that's my favorite shade from it, and I've almost hit pan. They're pretty close. Not exact. They're not exact, but they're pretty damn close. Anyway, this has been a super fun addition to my collection. I love discovering a new brand, and I think these are top notch, top notch. Speaking of Roen though, it's time we get into them. You knew it was coming. Roen does tons of all shimmer. It's kind of like their thing. They usually do all cream. They've been starting to add in a few powder shadows. I have a video on all of my Roen Quad, so I'll leave that down below. The newest one actually has a matte in it, so I didn't include it in here, but the other four I have. I did my look, like I said, with the Mood Forever. This one is really, really pretty. This is the shade that I was comparing to that one in the Cozzette palette, but I love these. I find these so beautiful. I always feel so expensive and pretty when I wear these. And I've been wearing them a lot recently, especially since I got the new quads, and I don't know, my love has just been re-sparked back. These do crease, and I got some creasing last night when I wore it, and you know, I just tapped it out and it looked just as beautiful as when I applied it. And I feel like that's the thing that kind of works about this cream formula and that I'm okay with, is because you can tap it out. So although it might get messed up, it can be fixed so easily, whereas I find other things that lock down a little bit more, it might look good, but the moment it starts cracking, the moment it starts flaking, the moment any of these things happen, it's like you're fucked, you know? Like, there's no coming back from that. It's not an easy fix, you know? And so I think that I like that kind of effortless thing. It doesn't even look that bad when your eyes, you know, your eyes are open and stuff. So anyway, I just experienced it last night and just realized like, oh yeah, it's not that big of a deal because I can just do that. Whereas I know that I've had times where other shadows look like creased or messed up, and then it's like just done. Like, no, there's nothing you can do. Anyway, this is the 1111 quad. You've heard me talk about this a million times over. Freaking love it, and I hope everyone who got it more recently loves it too. This is the only one I haven't used yet. I still need to use the 75 Warm. This is one of the first two that came out, and it's like all bronzy colors. Lots of beautiful one shadow looks in here. That's how I expect to use it, or as like toppers, but so pretty. I used this last weekend, I think it was, and it was so pretty, you guys. Like, such a stunning look. I think even though this one doesn't have those textures in it like some of the other Roen shadows, the one textured shade in here is actually a powder and shimmery. The creams that are in here for bases or for just whatever you want on your lid, there's something about them that looks, it's kind of like a cream satin shade. So it gives you that really understated, slightly luminous look to your lids without screaming for attention like some shimmers can do. And what I usually like, there's something about it. It's soft spoken, but understood, you know, like it is understood what's going on here. And I love that. So love this little quad. Really glad I picked it up. I have a little random one here. This is so random before we get into the last little section. This is the Ciate London Wink On Smiley World little quad. This has 4 shadows in it. I picked this up during a boxy sale, and I actually really like these shadows as well. They kind of remind me of the Makeup by Mario shadows. Like, they're a similar formula, I feel like, and I really mostly have loved the bronze shade in here. It's just a really beautiful shade of bronze. But again, something that really inspires me, I love looking at these textures, and I've just learned that shimmers just make me so excited about makeup. That's why we're here today, just to give them some love. The last section that I have here are more like designer-ish, like more expensive luxury makeup quads. Now, luxury quads have kind of always had this all shimmer or like low matte ratio. They've just, that's what they do. And I remember for a long time me being like, I just don't get it. Like, why do they do that? And honestly, it was kind of good because it made me never want to get really expensive quads, because I was like, who is doing looks with all those shimmers? Like, what's going on? But now I kind of get it actually more. And although a luxury formula might not be the most pigmented or, you know, like, I don't know, in your face when it comes to color, I actually do think they have a place, and I think I appreciate that formula a little bit more now that I'm getting maybe older. I'm into neutrals. You know, everyone has different skin and different concerns or wants different things, and I can just appreciate and understand the place that they have a little bit more. They're still expensive, and a lot of times you're paying for the name, but I'm just saying they definitely offer some stuff. So I have some stuff from Charlotte Tilbury here. First, this is the Bella Sofia quad. I actually got this as a free gift when I ordered a couple years first back, my first like Charlotte Tilbury items. And so I didn't pick this quad out specifically. It's all shimmer, and there are some really lovely satin type shades in here. Really 3 of them are that. And I think when you're really wanting to build depth with shimmers, that satin formula can be a really key formula to do that with. So this dark shade in here really does add quite a bit of depth because it doesn't have a high shine on it. It has like this sultry, easy to blend out formula, and it adds a little luminosity, but it's not reflecting so much light that it's not giving you the depth. So I really feel like that's what makes this quad work for so many looks and for like full looks. And then it also has this kind of like pop of shimmer thing that she does, where there's almost like a sheer shadow that you can tap over. Every time I've done my makeup with this, I've loved it, even though it's not one that I really gravitate to in the pan. But that's one of the quads I have, and I feel like it's a really big showcase of like more normal luxury quads that I see out there. This one came out last year. You've seen me feature this in so many videos this year since I got it. I know. This is the luxury palette of Props of Pearls, Celestial Pearl palette. I don't know. I always don't know. But this has tons of shimmers. Again, we have this kind of satin formula with the darkest shade in here, which is not dark at all, but it does for me add just that little bit of depth that makes my look still every day, even if I wanted to go out but still wanted a lighter look. It's beautiful. There's this really nice shimmery duochrome formula in here. It's a really pretty palette. I'm very happy with it. And it's all shimmer too, and I love it. I love it. Okay, and last I have a Tom Ford quad. I feel like Tom Ford has quite a few quads with all shimmers, and this is actually different than a lot of the formulas out there. This is quite textured, quite sparkly, every single one in here, and it is quite beautiful. These shades just suck me in nowadays. It's so funny. I used to hate these. I need to do a video. I think someone suggested I do a video on like my favorite taupey, bronze, like this family of color, you know, shades, and I think I'm gonna do that at some point. Let me know. Please let me know if you would actually be interested, because even this video right now, well, let me tell you what this is, then we can keep talking. This is the Lava Lustre palette. Really quite pretty expensive. I am definitely taking your guys' advice and getting my Tom Ford quads at the CCO from now on, which let me know if you'd like me to do a video kind of like shopping, seeing what there is, and doing a full face. I'm kind of interested in going and like seeing what's about. I love snagging a deal, you already know, and I kind of want to see what's there, and I don't know, I thought it'd be like a fun little thing. So let me know if you'd want to see that too. Anyway, I can't even remember what I was gonna say. I had a whole thing I was gonna talk about. And now when I edit back the video, I'll know, and I'll be like, dang it, why didn't I keep talking? I had so much to say about that. Sorry to leave a cliffhanger on that one, but that's all the palettes that I have. I feel, oh, I think I was gonna say maybe that I felt like this video, I hope it didn't feel pointless to you. I just wanted to like do something fun and chill, and like it didn't have to have some like bigger, greater meaning on the world. I feel like I was trying to find that, like trying to find the deeper thing or like more to talk about, but it's like, I just want to talk about some freaking sparkles, baby. Like, that's enough, right? Like, I think we are all here for that. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I'd love to know your favorite all shimmer palettes down below. Do you like all shimmer palettes? Are you like, hell no, I want some mattes in there at least? Or do you like all matte palettes? Let me know that. I definitely don't have nearly as many all matte palettes in my collection, but if you want to see that video, let me know. We could talk about that too. I do think the perfect combination is like shimmer heavy with a few mattes in there, like really key mattes that really make some looks pop. That's like my absolute preferred, but I do think it's special when an all shimmer palette comes around because they're not super often. There's usually at least some mattes in there, and I thought it'd be fun. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the look. Let's just get into that, and I hope you enjoyed the video. But yeah, let's do this look. All right, I'm gonna show you guys the eye look that I have been doing the last couple of days actually, or like a version of it. I'm using the Roen Mood Forever quad today, and oh, look at it. It's so dreamy. I'm gonna prime my lids. I'm just using the Urban Decay primer potion. This has like a clear base. That's why I'm using this instead of my normal cream shadows. Since the Roen is like all cream, you know, how many creams can you really do? Geez, holy cow, you know? And I always take my primer up like to almost the brow bone. Like I really blend it up and out. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm taking this shade here. That's gonna be all over my lid. And for this shade, I just take my finger, I really swirl it in there. Sometimes you gotta break the seal on these, kind of warm up the product. And I just take my time to get the shadow where I want it. Beautiful. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And I say this a lot, but I always put the most pigment on my lid and then I blend up just in case you're struggling. I find that's the easiest way to get a nice seamless blend. All right, so that's the first color down. Now, if you want, you can take a brush and kind of blend. I think I actually will do that. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. I'm gonna take something that's semi-dense. You want some density there so you can actually get some blending going since it's a cream. And I'm just gonna blend out the edges. Now I'm gonna go in with my highlighter before I go in with the next shade. So I'm using the Natasha Denona Super Glow, one of my favorite highlighters for the face, but also for the brow bone and the inner corner. It's just beautiful. For the inner corner, I'm gonna use a smaller brush though, just so it's a little more targeted. Now we're gonna work on the outer corner, and I'm going back into the Mood Forever Quad. I'm gonna take this shade here. It's a little bit darker, has like a darker base. It's a lot more creamy as well. I normally just take my finger and like dab it on the outer corner and just kind of blend out with my finger, but I kind of want to try blending with a brush and seeing how that goes. So I'm using a more domed, dense brush, and I'm kind of wanting to see like actually put it in the shadow. How does that like pick up and apply? I just like doing this for a little bit of depth, especially like the last couple nights I've been going out, and so I want, you know, something a little bit more smoky. You can see the difference here. It's not a ton, but it helps. I do think laying down with my finger gets the most product on like the fastest, and then blending out with the brush is pretty good. I feel like it's even getting smokier than normal right now, naturally. That's what happens on camera with me. I'm gonna go back in, kind of blend the edges out, make sure everything looks good. I'm also gonna add a little bit more to the lid of the original color, just on that like transition spot where these two colors meet. And now we're going into this shade. Oh, this is the shining star of this quad, honestly. I'm taking a little bit of that on my finger. This is so pretty on its own as well. But I'm tapping this kind of up here on the lid, and it is just stunning. It's so pretty. And I feel like this is what elevates the look from like simple to like, oh damn, like what's going on there? Like really takes it to the next level. It also kind of brightens the lid, which is nice. For liner, I'm using the Pixie Rose Glow, you know it. And sometimes I'll add a little bit on the top, like by my lashes, and then I blend everything out. Today I'm actually gonna use a little brush to do it. And I just really get in there on those lashes and meet them up in the outer corner. I'm matching up the inner corner to where I put that liner down. There's just a little bit of a gap and I don't want that. And now I'm gonna add some mascara. All right guys, so here is the final look. So sparkly, so pretty, and I just really love it. I'm so happy that I'm getting more use out of the other two colors from this quad. I don't like love this shade, but I mean, you can tell I'm like dug in this one, and I really love them together. I think it looks so pretty. I think there's like depth and dimension, but it's all shimmery, so I feel like at night it's like fun. Even my liner has shimmer. That's not even matte. My highlight is shimmer on my brow bone, on my inner corner. Like, it's all shimmers, okay? I love it. It's so pretty. And I hope that you liked the tutorial. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to know what all shimmer palettes you have in your collection, which ones you love. Let me know. I feel like they're a little bit harder to come by, and they're kind of fun when you can find one that really matches with you. So yeah, thanks for talking sparkles with me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.